Hi, beautiful souls. Today I thought I'd share a little light on holding space for others when they're going through challenges. I was speaking to a dear friend yesterday, and she's certainly going through some challenges, her and her husband, who's not very well. And when you witness somebody in their pain, it's not always easy for everyone to just bear witness, keep themselves quiet, and allow the person to express themselves in whichever way they need to. Most people will try to fix others. Most people will project onto others what they think they must do to make their lives better. But really, it's never about trying to actually help the person that's in pain and suffering. It's usually more to do with the person's inability to be able to be present with something that is distressing, troubling, or uncomfortable, in whichever way that might appear. My friend was asking me questions. Her husband has cancer, and as somebody who has been walking a journey with cancer for 9 years now, she wanted to ask me some questions, and I answered in a way that I felt was neutral. And then I got to a point where I was just like, I have nothing that I can share. There's nothing I can say to this. There is nothing I can add or lend to this. Sometimes people just have to express how they're feeling, allow their emotions to flow through. How many times when you're younger, you're told to go into the next room, or stop crying, or to basically repress your emotions? And yet really, if everybody was to allow their emotions free flow, to find their natural course, then people probably wouldn't get sick from emotional issues. But there's so many people sick from emotional issues, and not just cancer, lots of other diseases too. So always allow people that space to say what they need to say, howl, ugly cry, whatever you want to call it, wail, allow it out, let it all out. So it's so much better to let it out than to keep it bottled up. And you can never advise somebody else on how to navigate such challenges. And we never want, or should never want, to reduce or take away somebody else's pain in that sense, if it means that they don't fulfill lessons in this lifetime that benefit their soul's development and growth. There's reasons for everything, and when we take away from others, then there are repercussions. And being present, like I said, when somebody's in pain is not always easy. It can be really quite challenging and provoking, because it stirs up things within us. It stirs up anything within us that's not found its own peace. So if you're with somebody who is challenged and releasing emotions, and you feel uncomfortable, then you know that you still have healing to do within yourself too. You still have to make some peace within. Years ago, when I was living in Costa Brava, this very beautiful lady that I knew back then was visited. I was at the house with her, and she was visited by one of her friends. I think it was actually her sister-in-law that had come to visit. I can't remember exactly, and my Catalan was never that great to keep up with the conversation. And literally, as soon as the lady walked into the kitchen, she just broke down and started crying. And this dear friend of mine, the first thing she did, and I was so shocked, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing she did when her friend broke down and started literally really howling, crying, was so upset, for whatever reason, I'm not sure, she quickly opened the fridge and took out a piece of pastel cake and gave it to her. That was the answer. Cake. The answer was cake. And I don't think I smiled. I hope I didn't, but I certainly smiled inwards because I was like, that's so Spanish. Addressing the problem with food. And it's always stayed in my memory as something that tickled me at the time. So what I want to say and share today is that if you are with somebody and they're going through some tough time, if you can just be there, just present and aware, listening with your open, loving heart, without judgment, without the need to offer advice or to issue slices of cake, then you will assist that person to find their natural course of healing and releasing. And you will assist them to feel empowered rather than taking away their power, making them feel less than by your projections of what you think they should or might do in order to improve their situation. The more that we can empower each other by being present, not needing to fix, allowing each individual to work things out on their own, the better it is for all of us. And gosh, isn't it tempting to attempt to advise someone else, especially when you're like, no. But you have to let everybody make their own trips, their own journeys, and to release in whichever way they need to release, and however way that looks. Holding space, it's a really beautiful gift. If you can give that to somebody else in their moment of need, then you've given graciously and kindly, because not everybody is able to do that. I feel more and more people are able to do that these days, but most people do still want to give their little bit of advice too. And that's not always what's called for. My name is ZsaZsa, and like, subscribe and share this video if you feel called to do so. I'm sitting on the beach here with my friend Lanto, who's just had a cookie, and we're now going to do hairdressers. I'm going to give him a brush. Have a beautiful day, evening. Many blessings to you all.